And welcome. I am the Psych Autoscorer, and today we will be talking about the MMPI-A, or the MMPI adolescent. So this is for youth that are between the ages of, I think, 12 and 18 years old. This is definitely an older version of the MMPI, but there has not been made a newer version of MMPI that is suitable for adolescents. So if you're using like the MMPI 3, that won't work for someone that's under 18 years old. So here, as many of you already know, I am not fond of hand scoring assessments. I think that takes up a lot of time, and so I create these auto scoring templates in order to make your lives easier, especially with MMPIs, because they require you to have those frustrating overlays. And I just want to show you how to use this tool real quick. Hopefully you find it useful. If you do like it, go ahead and check the description and the link, and you will be able to find a similar template. Alright, so I just want to show you how to use this. As with many of my other templates, all you have to do is enter information into the yellow boxes. So we have the sex of the patient, male or female. Then we have the item numbers, and then there's this optional second entry list right here. As you can see, everything's pretty much zeroed out right now. Right now it's considering everything as false, so don't pay too much attention to it. So you can see, nothing is being used right now. And some of this might change by the time I make this available to all of you. But in principle, it should work all the same. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just type in male or female for the patient. So let's say you have female. You'll know that you typed it in correctly because this will turn pink with white lettering. Also, you notice that it's kind of delayed after I've typed that in. It's because a lot of the other formulas are working in the background, and so that's just there right now. If that's something that's frustrating to you, like let's say you're entering in these items, the raw scores for these item numbers, go ahead and create like a separate tab and then just type them all out there first and then just paste them into here. I'll show you how I do that in a second. But let's say you go through so with the MMPI-A, you have the item numbers or the question numbers. Like this would be the response of the patient for question number 1. If they put a true, go ahead and put a 1. If they put a false, put a 0. So let's say they did true, 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 false, true, false. And then we go right here. You can go ahead and, like for the second entry, you would just do looking at the same thing. Let's just double check your work to make sure it's going all well. If it's not the same, it'll be red, just as a heads up. So when you're doing this, that's just some fake data right there. All the data you'll see is fake. So, oops. All right. So what you'll want to do is you also have the graphs. I just want to show you that these are pretty much blank right now. None of this means anything at the moment, but they will update after I enter in the data. So just to show you that they don't really mean anything right now. Yeah, that was from previous data right there. So, everything takes a second just to update. And, alright. So, and then like some of these scores, like a 0 actually does mean something, so that's why there's a t-score there. So going back to the scores, I do have since there are like 478 questions, I'll just check that real quick. Yeah, 478 questions. I won't bore you, put them all in by hand. So I do have this sample patient here. It's all not real data, so don't worry. And then, oops. All right. So we'll go back to scores. We'll paste that in. I'm just going to keep the values. It'll take a couple seconds as it's running all the formulas at the same time. Alright, so this is some sample data. And then let's say the rest are just all trues. Obviously, it's going to probably invalidate the test once it loads. Alright, so we'll just check to make sure those all worked. Alright, and you can see that these are all red on the right side. You know, if I wanted to, I could go in and I could look at the test results and just hand enter them all in again just to make sure that they're all good. But that's not necessary, that's just for precaution. So once all the information is entered, it'll automatically calculate the raw scores. A lot of these are going to be really high because the last 400 we just did ones. So we'd expect to see some pretty high t-scores. Then let's see, so we have the validity and clinical scales profile, the content scales profile over here on the right. Then we have the Sci-5 scales, supplementary scales, Harris Lingos, and SI subscales, and then the content component scales. This is read by mistake, so that'll be fixed in just a minute. And all right, those are all the scales. And basically, once you enter in all that information, you'll just go to the graphs right here, and everything will have updated automatically. These are going to look a little funky because you know, it's not real patient data. This is a lot of the responses are just trues, so yeah, things are going to look a little bit weird. And then let's see. All right, so you have all these scales. These yellow lines right here, these signify 65 for the t-score, so anything above that is clinically significant, and we just call that clinical 1. And then, yeah, so that'll be for each one, and everything updates in time. So hopefully this is something that you can use to make your lives a lot easier as people that provide assessments for patients. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to message me in the comments, or you can send me an email at psychautoscore@gmail.com. All right, thanks everyone.